Jai Ho students, welcome to SKCBSE's Vidya class session. Dear students, as we have seen that in mathematics subject there are 16 chapters. Yeah. So which all those 16 chapters we can find in mathematics subject? What all the topics we have to study? That is for the academic year 2021 and 22. So we have 16 chapters. So this is what we can say the entire course structure of mathematics subject for the academic year 2021 and 22 for the class 8th standard. As you all know that there are 16 chapters. 16 units we can find in the mathematics textbook. So which are those 16 chapters? What are to be studied in the entire chapters? We have to look at first. Okay, the first one is rational numbers. Dear students, till 7th standard you have studied natural numbers, whole numbers and integers. We have seen the another type of number, that is rational numbers. In this topic, what all to be discussed, what you have to study, that is what are rational numbers. Yes, how to write the rational numbers between two rational numbers. How many rational numbers we can find? What are the types of rational numbers? What are the properties we have to apply for the rational numbers? So some properties we have applied for natural numbers, whole numbers and integers. Closure property, commutative property, associative property, distributive property. Many properties we have applied for the integers. In the same way, we have to see the rational numbers and their properties. And the second unit is, second chapter is linear equations in one variables. Linear equations. Yeah, linear equations in one variable. So till the 7th standard we have studied algebraic expressions. Algebraic expressions we have studied, but this year we have to study linear equations. And we have also studied till 7th standard simple equations. So simple equations, next part only, that is linear equations in one variable. That equation should have only one variable, either x, y, z, whatever you can take as a variable. And we have seen the what linear equations solutions, how to find the solutions of linear equations in one variable. That ought to be studied in this topic. Next one, understanding quadrilaterals. So in this understanding quadrilaterals, what we have to study, what we have to discuss, there are many types of plane figures. Here we have seen the closed figures we have studied. We have studied open figures we have studied. The closed figures which are formed by the line segments, those are called as polygons. We used to call them as polygons. If it is having 3 sides, triangle, 4 sides, quadrilateral, 5 pentagon, 6 hexagon. So like this we have studied different plane figures, that to polygons. Now we have to understand the quadrilaterals. What are quadrilaterals? It is having 4 sides, 4 angles, 2 diagonals, and what are the properties of quadrilaterals? That ought to be studied in this. And we have different types of quadrilateral. Trapezium is one of the quadrilateral. Kite is one of the trapezium. Rhombus is one of the trapezium. Square is one of the trapezium. Rectangle is one of the trapezium. Rhombus is one of the trapezium. So what all their properties, that all we have to study in this understanding quadrilaterals. And also by using these understanding quadrilaterals, by using these properties, we have to construct the quadrilateral. How to construct the quadrilateral? That we have to study in this topic. Next, practical geometry. That construction only we can see in the practical geometry. Here, how to draw the parallel lines, how to construct the angles, how to construct the triangles, how to construct the quadrilaterals. Those all we have to study in this practical geometry. Next topic is data handling. So what is this data handling? So till 7th standard we have studied how to collect the data, how to organize the data, how to tabulate the data, how to represent the data in graphical representation. That is what we can say. Pictograph we have studied, bar graph we have studied, pie chart we have studied, double bar graph we have studied. So those all will comes under data handling. And the next topic is 6th one, squares and square roots. There are some special numbers which are called as squares, clear, and their square root. So squares and square root is one of the most important topic. And the next 7th one is cubes and cube roots. As we have seen, squares and square roots in the same way we have to study another type of numbers, that is cubes and cube roots. And next one, 8th topic is comparing quantities. What are those? What is this chapter consists? So ratio, proportion, percentage, profit, loss, clear? Profit percent, loss percent, simple interest. So those all points we have to discuss in this comparing quantities. And next come to 9th chapter, that is algebraic expressions and identities. Algebraic expressions, they are also called as polynomials. The algebraic expressions are formed by the variables and constant numbers. We have studied there are, if algebraic expression has only one term, we can say it is monomial. If it is having two unlike terms, then binomial. 3 unlike terms, trinomials. 4 unlike terms, polynomials. More than 3, polynomials used to call. And the most important, that is algebraic identities. A plus b whole square, a minus b whole square. These identities are there, no? Those identities we have to study in this chapter. Next come to visualizing solid shapes. So here we can say quadrilateral is plane figure, 2-dimensional figure, plane figure used to call. And here we can see solid shapes. What are those solid shapes? Solid shapes are the 3-dimensional figures: cube, cuboid, cylinder, cone, then sphere, hemisphere. Many examples we can give for solid shapes. Clear? And next come to mensuration. In this mensuration, we have to study the most important point, that is area and perimeter. Area and perimeter of the given plane figures: rectangle, square, triangle, trapezium, rhombus. So these all we have to study in this mensuration. Next one is exponents and powers. That is 12th topic is exponents and powers. So there are some numbers. Yes, those numbers cannot be possible. Some numbers are there, they are very big. They won't be written in in big way. So that is, if the big numbers or very short numbers, very small numbers, we can write in a short form, simplest form. That form is called as exponential notation, exponential form, and they are written in the form of powers, exponents and powers. For example, we can say 10 to the power 11. Here what we have to do? We have to multiply 10 11 times. So that number is very big. Here after 1, 11 zeros you get. that what number it is, what its name. Clear? So this is the exponential notation. That big number, that's very small numbers, we can represent, we can express them as exponential notation, exponents and powers. And also we have to study in this, there are some laws of exponents, and based on that we have to solve some examples. And next one is direct and inverse proportion. This topic is very important. Clear? What is this means? What is direct and inverse proportions? There, suppose you think there are two quantities. There are two quantities. If the one quantity increases, the value of one quantity increases, automatically the value of another quantity increases. That is called as direct proportion. One example I will give. 1 pen cost is 5 rupees. 1 pen cost is 5 rupees. Here we have two quantities. That is, pen is one quantity, amount is another quantity. Suppose the number of pens increases. Suppose the number of pens increases 1 to 10. 1 pen cost is 5 rupees. 10 pen cost is 50 rupees. It means number of pen increases, amount also increases. Both the quantity values are increasing. Then we can say direct proportion. That is called as direct proportion. If one quantity value increases, automatically the value of another quantity also increases. That is called as direct proportion. And one more is there, inverse proportion. What is this inverse proportion? What do you mean by inverse proportion? Clear? So for this also I will give one more example. Clear? Here the quantity, the value of one quantity increases and the value of another quantity decreases. Clear? How this is possible? One example I will give. Suppose if I go from Belgaum to Bangalore with a 60 km per hour, I can take 5 to 6 hours. 60 km per hour in the speed, that is, speed is one of the quantity, and the time taken is 5 hours. Suppose I increase the speed, I go with 75, 100 km per hour, but the time taken will be less. So I can reach 4.5 hours, or I can reach within 4 hours. So that is what, one quantity value increases, another quantity value decreases. Speed increases, time taken decreases. Clear? So that is what we can say inverse proportion. And next one, factorization. Factorization means they have given one algebraic expression. That algebraic expressions are having some common factors. What they are having? They are having some common factors. Those common factors we have to make as a product of these common factors. That is nothing but a factorization. Yeah. So in this factorization chapter we have to study, we also have to study the division of polynomials. Division of monomial by monomial, monomial by binomial, binomial by monomial. So many examples we can study in this factorization chapter. Next, come to introduction to graphs. So here one coordinate geometry is one of the part in mathematics. So that comes under introduction to graph. In that coordinate geometry we can say introduction to graph. Clear? And the last one is playing with numbers. So how you play with numbers? Yes, there are some tricks we have to use with the playing with numbers. What are those? Divisibility tests, as I told. Divisibility test. Suppose they give one number. Can you tell that this number is divisible by 4? Can you tell that this number is divisible by 11? How you can identify? There are some techniques. There are some rules we have to follow for the divisibility test. So I hope understood. these all 16 topics what all to be studied in this your entire course structure. In the next class, we discuss the first topic, that is rational numbers. So till then, take care. Jai Hind.